Hey, guess what? It's time for a message in a minute. Well, you know, more or less. As I'm reading through my Bible, I keep discovering the fact that when a nation would fall into sin, sooner or later, it would bring about a period of judgment, judgment from God, because that's what sin does. Sin brings judgment. And I'm just kind of looking around at the nation that we live in. I love this country, but it's like on a daily basis, we're discovering more and more corruption, more and more sin in our land. And I just wonder sometimes how much longer we can go before we fall under the judgment of God. I think there's something way more important than that. And that's making sure that if the judgment of God falls on this land, that you're going to be able to stand. And that preparation has more to do with the preparation of the heart than anything else. Because I'm looking at scripture. In fact, I got a scripture I want to share with you today. It's found in the Old Testament, towards the end, a tiny little book called Zephaniah. Only has 3 chapters. But in chapter 2 of Zephaniah, verse number 3, we find these words: "Seek the Lord, all you meek of the earth, who have upheld his justice. Seek righteousness, seek humility. It may be that you will be hidden in the day of the Lord's anger." You know, Zephaniah was preparing the people for something that was going to happen in the land. And he said, more than anything else that we need to do, we need to make sure that our hearts are right with God. And I'll just ask you today, is your heart right with God? Have you invited Jesus Christ to become your boss and to serve him with everything that you have, asking him to come into your life, forgive you of all the sins that you've committed, and from this point on, do your very best to serve the Lord with a pure heart? Look what he says here. He says, "Seek the Lord, all you meek of the earth." Sometimes people think of meekness as a weak person. Actually, it's not. Meekness is actually a great strength to have in your life, that when things go maybe not the way that you want them to, that you're going to respond with meekness. You know, even in Matthew chapter 5, that's the first book of the New Testament, we find that Jesus says that the meek are going to inherit the earth. Now, to me, that sounds like a pretty good deal. Who have upheld his justice. In other words, we want to know what God thinks about something, and we're going to find it as we study his word. And then let's put that into practice. Let's pursue that. Let's pursue the justice, the judgment of God in our land, and also to seek righteousness. You know, one thing I've learned about righteousness is that I don't have any. The only righteousness that I have is the righteousness that was given to me by God. Because when I gave him my sin, he gave me his righteousness. And so the only righteousness that I have was given to me. Also, it says to seek humility, which means, you know, I don't have all the answers. I don't think anybody does. But to come before the Lord and say, God, I don't understand all the things that are going on, but I want to land squarely on your side. And when we do that, and when we walk in that, we find that Scripture says it may be that you will be hidden in the day of the Lord's anger. You know, I want to be on God's side. I want to serve him with everything I have. And so my encouragement to you is let's walk in that. Let's walk in genuine meekness, humility, and righteousness before the Lord. Hey, until next time, we'll see ya.